All right, collective. We're going to start with some love readings. This is a very toxic love connection if you've clicked on this specific reading. I've got a couple of these that I'm going to be rolling out, so don't feel like all of them are your story, because they're not going to be. Right? If you're one where you're watching all of my videos, just take it for the entertainment, the spiritual teachings that are probably going to come out, as I'm also a spiritual teacher, right, along with playing with the cards. But I really wanted to play with the cards, right? And I got these Tangled Love cards, right? I wanted to play more with the love cards, so I wanted to do love readings, right? Well, the first two cards that jumped out of the deck, okay, was toxic environment. Now, could be your environment that's influencing this relationship. I'm going to talk more about this card in just a second. But this forever kind of love, okay? Infinite, unbreakable, and meant to stay. What I'm getting here is there is a very strong tie, hold, where somebody is just, I'm getting this energy of like, if I can't have you, no one will. Like, you're my forever lover. Like, you are never leaving me. And what it's giving to me too is they were showing me the movie Enough, right? Where she's got a very, very abusive husband, and she's got to learn how to fight and all sorts of things to be able to defend herself, to be able to get out of that situation. You know, and as I say this too, my new deck that I have on my desk that I was playing with beforehand is showing the Devil and the Moon. And this is a really fun deck too, by the way, that I'm going to be doing some readings with the Meow Tarot. So if you like cats, I got that because my kids love cats, and I thought this would be a fun deck, right? To work with them with, and to let my daughter play. She was playing with my decks, right? But anyway, look at the moon too. Look at this. The moon looks all devious, like he's up to something. I don't know. Somebody could be up to something. As well, there's like this sneaky. There's a sneaky vibe. But anyway, what it was giving with these cards is that somebody's like you my forever, like you ain't going nowhere, right? Like unbreakable. Somebody feels like they own you, they control you ever. But see, look, on this card, the toxic environment, I said I was going to talk more about bad advice, low vibration, emotional leeching in a karmic relationship. For some of you, this is very much like a karmic relationship, a cycle, but somebody could be very possessive and controlling. Drugs and alcohol, drugs or alcohol could be a factor here. That could be why somebody is like set up in a cycle. Like sometimes you have these soulmates, right, that are meant to be like beautiful connections for you, but they can turn toxic and karmic, especially if there is indulgences, especially if there is, you know, they can be tainted due to drugs and alcohol. They can ruin beautiful things, as we know that. I don't even need to get into explaining that. What's interesting is I was getting this card out, like I was getting these beautiful cards, right, that were coming out about like forever lover, matching vibration, all sorts of things, and then like all this darkness was getting thrown on top of it. Now I know that this deck, it's quite big, right? There's a lot of different vibrations and energies. See, look, they're showing me 1111. For some of you, this could have been like your twin flame, your divine counterpart. It's like for some of you, you could have came together because you were a vibrational match, right? And that might be why like you have this strong tie, this very strong feeling that like, yes, this is your forever lover, and somebody could feel like, yeah, you my twin, so you my forever, but there's a toxic environment here. There's influences of drugs and alcohol and addiction that's tainting it. That's why I said the devil can very much get in there and can ruin a beautiful thing due to drugs and alcohol and all that. And that's kind of what I feel like is going on here. See, somebody could be in this energy of contemplation, right, where they're thinking like they're unsure, because it's like, yeah, this is my twin or whatever, like I know I'm supposed to be, maybe you feel like you're supposed to detox them or save them or rescue them or something like that. But something I'm learning is that somebody is not going to quit an addiction. Somebody is not going to let something go until they're willing to do that. And in this realm, I've been realizing why there's so much of it, because there are a lot of people that you literally can't force them to stop, or it can be detrimental, if not life-threatening, if you get them to do that and they're not ready. Like, let me say, like, in this lifestyle too, I've seen some people not even make it, pass away because they quit an addiction and they weren't ready, and literally their body went through such heavy withdrawal symptoms that it ended their life because they tried to do it without seeking treatment, right? So that's why I get now why there's clinics and things like that that help people detox slowly and get the levels down, because some people, if they're in high tolerance or a high level of drug use, that to quit like that, the body can't handle it. So, that's what I mean. Like, and everybody's body is different. Everybody's addiction is different. Like, you don't know, and especially with the high extreme levels of emotions, you know what I mean, can cause, I don't want to get into something too much about all that, but you can see, like, that you can't stop like, they have to be willing to want to clean up or whatever and get sober, because sometimes then people will change addiction, sometimes people will stack things. Like, this is what I'm getting, like, somebody's like mixing like pills and alcohol, uppers and down, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you take something away so make it go to something else. It could be more so. What I was getting at, though, is sometimes people they're not emotionally stable enough to be able to completely quit this stuff, because sometimes it can be like an emotional overload, especially if somebody's been using drugs and alcohol to kind of mask pain, emotions, things like that. It can cause people to have manic episodes, develop all sorts of other things, right? So, I'm definitely not condoning drug use and things like that, but what I'm saying is, I see now why so many people like go towards drugs and alcohol too. It's like a way to pause reality. It's a way to escape it. Ultimately it hangs you up in cycles. And that's why I was thinking the other day, as I literally said to my lover, I was like, gosh, because recently the thing that he was doing to escape reality just got banned. Right? So it just got pulled off the shelves and everything. And I was like, yeah, that's because I didn't want you doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it made the comment like, yeah, like, literally you need to realize that that's because that's why it's getting removed and everything. And I was making the comment like, don't mess with me or whatever. I was like, now if I could just eliminate alcohol like that, you know what I mean? But then I immediately said, I'm like, if I was to do that, if I could do that, then a lot of people wouldn't make it. That's immediately what I said right afterwards. So many people wouldn't make it. And as much as I hate alcohol, it's just, I know that there would be a huge amount that wouldn't be able to sustain life just to eliminate it like that. So that's what I mean, is it's very delicate, okay, when you're playing around with drugs and alcohol. And I'm definitely not I think alcohol ruins people, and it puts your life on pause, it puts it on hold. I grew up with the mother being an alcoholic, right? I watched her destroy her body, her life, everything, and it's very sad and devastating, right? That, like, I would love to have her in my life today, but because of her addiction, she's always chosen that over her family. And because of what she turns into, it triggers all of her pain and all of her trauma that she has. And then she starts acting out and turns into, I don't want to talk bad about her on this channel, but this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what happens to people. They let's just say she loses control over her mind anytime that she infuses with that drug. And that's why, to protect my family, to protect me from all of that, I have to keep my distance, and that's what's sad, is that people have to choose. That's why, like, I told my lover, I was like, you can't have me and drink alcohol. And that's why he switched it, and he went, all right, fine, I won't drink. Then he went to doing other drugs and stuff. So, like, that's what I mean. And that's why he's lucky that he's had me, right? That I've been able to be back and forth, and, like, where we've separated, I've let him out of my life to get help, I've given him chances to come back in. But that's what I mean. That's where I feel like it's constantly this. You know, he feels like I will always be there. Yeah, we have these separations, we do this, but as soon as I get clean and sober, then she'll come back around. And then it's like, yeah, we'll be in no contact for a while, but then, you know what I mean? He thinks he can go run off and do his dirty little addiction for a little while, and then I'm going to come back in and play these games. That's why you have to be careful, right? And I feel that I'm putting my story out there because there's a lot of twins, I feel, that fall into this. But see, they're more heavily governed and protected, I feel, because there's under a lot of spiritual attack, and the devil's constantly sending a lot of confirmation on the phone, sending a lot of stuff that way. You know what I mean? Sending, like, the twins are singled out a lot. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I had people come across my path trying to offer me things, trying to get me down pathways that I don't go down, let's say that, but that, it's just, it's crazy how much stuff I try to get guided down ways where I'm like, nope, like, you know, I always trust what I feel or whatever. Okay, so they're showing me this card too, really committed this time, loyal, in it for the long run, and no games. For some of you, you know, maybe some of your twins, all right, are reaching that point of realizing, like, you know what, I'm going to completely give everything up because I don't want, like, I am really committed this time. I'm not going to run back to this or whatever. But look, then they're showing me toxic love, though, as I say that, patterns, addiction, manipulation, and dysfunction. It's really committed this time, but then it's toxic love. Like, I really feel like somebody has a lot of love, right? But they're struggling very heavily with this addiction. Controversy, drama, scandal, disbelief, and hidden things revealed. For some of you, maybe if you didn't know that there was a hidden drug addiction or something, it could be coming out. But see, then they're showing me envy too. For some of you, it could be people that are projecting this. That's why, like, I told my lover, hey, shh. That's why I told my lover too. I was like, you gotta completely let go of friends. You don't understand that. Every time you talk to past friends, it's triggers for you. Even if it'd be different if they were clean and sober right now. Then you could have a new relationship from a past relationship where you've grown, evolved, and changed. But to connect with people that are still in those behaviors and patterns of when you do not see, that's why you have to let past people go. Like, you can't hang out with people that you used to party and all of that with, and you just can't. I mean, that's something that if you want to sober up, you want to get away from those things, you have to let those friends go. You can't put yourself in those same environments with those people. And sometimes it could be family members too. And I know that family, that has been so destructive for chosen ones. I can't even tell you, because we were born into families with drug addiction. We chose that path because we came to heal those family bloodlines, right? And a lot of those family members got us hooked onto drugs and things from a very young age, right? I mean, I had my mother taking my lunch money that my father gave me when I was a teen, buying me cigarettes and buying me alcohol. I didn't ask her to buy me the alcohol either. She just did that because she was an alcoholic and always wanted me to drink. But it's like, I look back at that like, why would my mother do that? Why would my mother hide that from my father, do those things, right? Because she knew that that was detrimental. Oh, whatever. But it's those little things. Like, she wanted me to be like her or whatever. And then my father, the same thing, trying to get me addicted to prescription pills and all of that as a teen, trying to get me, you know what I mean, I'm going to be careful what all I disclose on here, but that's what I mean. Like, you know, we came to heal these family bloodlines. Our parents, you know, our chosen ones, they didn't want to see us be healthy and exceed them, because it would make them feel as though they failed as a parent, right? That's the only thing that I can think of why they tried to set us up to be like them and have drug addictions or whatever. So anyway, that's the hardest thing, right? When it's your own family, because when you're growing up, you look up to your family. That's your idols. That's showing you this world. So when you finally like realize that, oh my gosh, Like, my parents are showing me the whole complete wrong way to be living my life. Like, wow, my parents are really, their lives are fucked up. So they wanted me fucked up, right? So, okay. And it's a hard thing to swallow, right? Or to accept that, yeah, my parents, you know, didn't want to see me exceed, didn't want to. Wow, okay. So who's got me, right? And then you got to heal yourself and all of that, so it takes a lot. So anyway, contemplation came out again. Sketchy, unsure of you, playing games, weighing out options. So somebody is heavily in contemplation. This is either you or this is energy surrounding you. Okay, but wow, distractions, options, always busy, wandering eye, kept you waiting, and deuces is coming out. Now, this is collective energy, so take what you would, but look, broken mirrors is here, with addictions on here again. Awakenings is underneath it. Lessons, triggers, and turmoil. I'm getting this strong energy, like somebody is really thinking, like, do I want to give up this addiction for love? Like, wow. That's how heavily somebody's addiction is. They're really contemplating, if I want this love, I have to be sober. And you know what? I mean, I can't even say that's a beautiful thing, because maybe this is someone that struggled their entire life with an addiction. Like I was talking about childhood. This could go all the way back to childhood, and maybe somebody's realizing, like, wow, I've got to let go of family. If I want this love, like, I got to get away from my family, because my family is going to constantly pull me into this addiction. Wow. So somebody is really contemplating giving up their addiction for love. So don't look at that as like, they didn't just know, like, they didn't just pick me over it. Like, no. Addictions can be very hard, and somebody may be needing to reach out for help, like, and literally maybe go into a treatment. Like, I started to pull some cards, then I took a phone call, and I got back on, because I decided to take the phone call. I didn't just call in. I knew that I had this message since yesterday, but I decided to call it back, and it was for my son about treatment, right? And about a facility, right? So I was looking into, you know, and it was the same thing. The conversation was, it's a voluntary thing. And I'm like, here's another beautiful thing, but it's like, he would have to agree to treatment. He'd have to agree to go into this facility. So, but it's interesting, I talk about that, like, there's always help and resources out there, but like, the person has to agree. Okay? So, it's a big step for somebody to go into treatment too. You know that. Sometimes it takes a lot of tries. Like right now, like, he's being detained right now. And he's basically like just being held because he's been erratic and out of control, and we're trying to get him to realize that, like, you can't keep running from all of this. Like, you need to agree to get help. Like, we're trying to tell him, like, yeah, it's optional for you, because they don't like to, because it's the same thing. Like, you can't order somebody to go into treatment or to get counseling if they don't want it. For one, it's like a waste of time, but it can be detrimental as well. And I'm not saying condoning drug use, you know what I mean? But it can have adverse effects, right? Like, and I guess maybe psychological on children. Like, his ego is like so fragile right now. He cares so much about what his friends and his girlfriends and all of that and what they think of him, right? That, you know, like, he's got to be the one to agree to get help. And you know, and especially with the child, like, for them to go into like a treatment facility, like, if they feel forced or whatever, they could really rebel. They could really, you know what I mean? They could feel like, oh my God, like, especially those that have to go into like the, I don't know why I just heard a sane asylum. Oh my God. Mental hospitals, things like that. It could be very, very much. Like, I'll remember how embarrassed he was the first time that I had him Baker acted and picked up or whatever. I'm like, because I'm going to take your threats very seriously. Like, I don't care if you, how do I know that you don't really mean that you're not going to harm yourself, even if you just say that you're going to do that or whatever. So no, like, it's beautiful that they do take those very seriously, and they just hold for 48 hours or whatever. But I'll never forget the time my past lover, the same thing. Like, he started to make those threats or whatever. And especially when people are engaging in drugs and alcohol. And I had to tell him, I was like, you made those threats to me. You scared me. I called for help. I said, I've had my own father and mother both attempt to end their lives, and were almost successful a couple of times. And because of them and the Baker Acts, I saved their lives, right? And if they wouldn't have intervened, they wouldn't have made it, right? So, you know, I do know that services can very much help people, and yeah, so you do take those threats very seriously. And the time that my mother got very, she was almost successful with ending her life. Like, I know that alcohol was a factor. And I know that it was affecting the dark emotions in her head, causing her to act out. So that's what I mean. Like, drug addictions and things, you can't play around. You could think that someday, like, I would have never have thought in my dreams, right, or wildest dreams or whatever, that she would have done what, and I'm not going to explain what she'd done, but I'm not going to. I just never would have thought, but I know that because alcohol was a factor. That's why it happened. So that's what I mean. I firsthand have seen what alcohol can do, how it can take over somebody's mind, right? And the pain and trauma be too much, which, see, they make you think that alcohol numbs it out because it numbs your chakra systems down. It makes you feel good. But really, alcohol, it releases emotions all through your body, which I forget what the hormone's called, but it actually causes agitation and aggravation. So you think that it's calming you down, but really it's amping you up in other ways. And emotions, actually, you think they're suppressing, but why do you think they cause you to think about them, right? Especially anger and things like that. You're numbing your chakra systems down. You're disconnecting from source. So then you're allowing dark demonic forces to take over your vessel. And that's why it's very easily for that rage and anger. That's why if you have that stuff hidden and suppressed, and then you drink, you're infusing with, especially depending on what you drink too. Because if you start infusing with certain things that are filled with spirits, that's why they call some of the alcohol and things like that spirits. Yes, they can infuse those things, right? Then you're activating the dark. I don't know, I feel like I'm getting very dark with this, but the demonic forces and things can take over. And I know that demons are really just dark emotions manifested into a form, but I mean, I don't want to get too spiritual with talking about the things on here, but the dark energies can very much take over, and that's what I mean. Just like the voice of God and the voice of the devil is very much a real thing. Okay, you can very much hear the darkness take over your mind and talk to you and get you and whisper things to you and get you to do things, right? So yeah. All right. Anyway, look, reconciliation really committed this time came out. Love that last, timeless, real, deep affection. That's what I mean. I'm getting for some of you, this is a very hard connection. Look, real love, real deal. Lessons learned. You know, I just feel like it's like, I feel like this is like a big, like somebody knows, like, wow. I really feel like maybe somebody was struggling with addiction, like they're on, like, what is it called, the men's or whatever, like they're I feel they're sober right now, but they're feeling the temptation. So they're thinking, you know, is this worth it? Maybe somebody's going through the withdrawals right now. They're realizing, look, clear mind, clear heart. Inferno. Desperation, self-sabotage, life in flames, and breaking point. See, this is what somebody's feeling like. Somebody could be going through it as well, and they're feeling like, wow, like, I'm going to have to face everything, all the things that I've been using to suppress these emotions and these feelings, like, I have to let these go. Right. Red flags came out. I don't even like to read all of the ones on the card because an unknown caller. I really feel somebody's realizing the temptations through people. Somebody's recognizing that, wow, the callers, the texts, the things that are going on, the things that are being shown in my phone, even just like these social medias that bring up, oh, look at these past memories, right? It could be showing you those good old times. Like somebody's really, there's something with messages very strongly. Messages came out, meeting up, heart-to-heart conversations. Somebody could be wanting to reach out and send some messages to you, but I really feel that somebody's really getting tested right now. The devil is really trying to get somebody to go down now, but ultimately, like, it's their decision. Like, I feel like we're at this big, like, they're at this big moment. Like, they're going to pick. And I guess it's important for you to know that if they pick addictions, if they pick to go use again, then you need to know you just starting a cycle over with them again. I'm sorry, because where I'm at with this, they fully know how much the addiction, the drug use, the whatever, like they're fully aware of what they're hiding. They're fully aware that they've been picking this over you, and they know that they're like on this verge of like losing this connection. Like they're fully aware of what this is. So if they pick to go towards the drug, the alcohol, the addictions, go down that path, they're always going to be on that path. And I feel like that's what they know as well. I feel like they know, like, if I'm going to break this, it's now. It's like it's now or never, or I'm going to have a life of addiction. Wow. Look, coming clean. So if someone's coming clean telling you, like, that's the first thing too. Some of you, this could be been a hidden addiction that you didn't even know about. So if somebody's coming clean with somebody, coming clean, then that's the first sign of wanting help. So for some of you, maybe don't turn this away. Like, I feel like you would have known. Look, double life caught. Wow. I don't feel like this is a double life of cheating. Even those secret affairs on this card. It's living a lie, hidden truths. Emotional betrayal. Or maybe somebody else. But coming clean, double life, and caught. I can't make this up. Somebody's coming clean about something, but I really feel that it was like a hidden addiction. You know, and I feel to say, because this is a collective reading, you know, sometimes an addiction can be anything. It doesn't have to be like drugs or alcohol. It could have been another form of a vice that was putting something over love over somebody. But see, conflict resolution, compromises, making amends, rebuilding trust in a positive. Like somebody could have like a gambling addiction, or you know what I mean? Or it could be an addiction to food. You know what I mean? Or like a hidden, like, I don't know why, I just got like a vision of someone's got like a secret like storage facility. Like they were showing me like a door being lifted where someone like secretly like buys things and like stores them all there. And they were showing me the movie where somebody like they had a problem where they would always buy a whole bunch of things on sale in bulk and resell them or something. Forget what that movie is, but it got out of control and she ended up having like a whole, like her husband had no idea. And she had a whole garage, and it was like she had like aisles set up in there of like the stuff that she was purchasing and like reselling. And she's like, I got a problem. Like, he didn't even know. So it might not be something as bad, but I mean, if somebody's coming in and confessing, coming clean about something, it's because maybe they get caught and they have to confess. But I mean, I'm laughing at his face. I always laugh to change the vibration too. He's just like, oh my god, like it's like someone's like embarrassed, and you need to keep that in mind if someone's coming clean. But I'm almost out of time for this reading, so this took over with the messages. It was very important that it was meant to come out though. So I'm gonna do a tarot reading next, but I hope that this helped you. Okay, I'm sending love and light to all of you. Definitely watch wherever you feel guided to. No, all my readings are timeless. Normally, Source Spirit will guide you to it when you're meant to see it, right? So if you're not one of my regulars that watch my content, then, and you were just guided here out of the blue, then whether you want to accept it or not, this is here for you. You either know it is, you have the feeling, or you could get blindsided, right, with something. But I really feel that you know that something's off. Maybe you didn't know it was an addiction or something like that, but if you're coming into an alignment with this, you knew that something was off. And that could be getting exposed to you because you came into an alignment with this. But you need to know that it's